Hello, and welcome to Wyverns and Weirdos, The Journey Home. I am your Dungeon Master Darby, and joining me as always are Zoe playing Sevia, Emily playing Beatrice, Laura playing Conrad, and Johanna playing Fall. Let's jump into Where we last left off, the party had a Mad Max-esque combat race through hell on their newly purchased infernal war machine, being chased down by three other war machines with devils manning them. They were able to take them all, deal with all of them, destroying one, killing the rider of a motorcycle one, which Conrad later claimed, and just doing enough damage to another one that it wasn't destroyed, but it was not moving. It was on its back. There was no way that it was catching up with you anytime soon. And you made it to Mordenkainen's tower, where you described what you wanted him to make for you to replace your clothes that were destroyed in the Tomb of Annihilation. And then you proceeded to head up for a short rest while he cast the spells to get those ready. So, what would folks like to do?
We're all just like standoffing at each other. So sorry, what room did we go to again? Did we? I feel like we went to the kit. No, the arcane servants are giving us a tour, I think.
Yes.
And we were talking about getting food.
So yeah, so we'll assume for the sake of brevity that like you've been given the tour, and this is Mordenkainen's tower. If there's some sort of facility you think that he would have, he's probably got it. And that includes kitchen, that includes bedrooms, all that jazz. No.
Well, we thought of it. Why isn't it there?
Anything you think Mordenkainen would have.
I mean,
we don't know.
We don't know.
Just to relax.
If we're in hell, aren't all baths hot springs, technically?
No. They're all hot tubs. But they're not, like, hot springs are natural. Hot springs are explicitly natural, like, springs.
Well.
So, Mordenkainen's jacuzzi.
Yes.
If there is one, Conrad has found it.
It's not a jacuzzi, it just is the bath that happens to function as a jacuzzi in hell.
Is it big enough for 4 people to fit in?
No.
Rats. There goes my whole plan for this evening. Okay, I don't know, at a certain point, Sevia is probably gonna set up shop in a dining room of some description, and ask for just like any food that, you know, can be consumed without paying all that much attention.
Yep.
And she's going to settle in to look like she looks like she's about to start reading this huge, thick book that Mordenkainen gave her, and she like has this look on her face that you guys have probably seen a couple of times where she looks like she's just so excited to read. Like, oh, buddy. But then, depending on what Conrad's doing, she's actually going to go to start reading this book and then probably look at him wherever he is in his little Italy Eurovision leather outfit. Hashtag not spawned by Eurovision. And she will she'll see if anyone else is going to talk to him before she makes any kind of move.
Okay. You do notice that as you eat, the food tastes bitter and ashen.
Oh. Oh.
Unfortunately, this is probably like rich people food always tastes terrible.
No, food in hell
thinks
always.
This is like really like. Paul does not know this is like. I bet he thinks this is like really gourmet. Ugh.
I mean, if Fall doesn't like it, they can always get out their own rations.
That's true. That's true.
Well, so anyway, what are people doing?
Well, Conrad himself, I'll note first, I suppose. He's was kind of just like very bored when we were being shown around. I can't remember if he's already had a bath. I feel like he has. I don't know. Otherwise, he'll have one soon. But he's kind of gotten off the like the suitcase that he has basically like as a backpack, and he's like been like very laboriously kind of like found a spot for himself, probably near the entrance or in that the big space everyone's in, and it's kind of just plopped himself on the ground. He's like unbuckled that, and then he's been like laborious just like unbuckling all the straps he has on, like, you know, his bits of armor and like all of that, and then he's been kind of opening up the suitcase and taking out a bunch of items. I presume most of the clothes are just like he just grimaces as like he pulls them out and they're like in tatters from the field we went through. So he kind of just throws that, tries to like throw the bits and pieces out of that, and then like sets aside a couple of things. He seems to be looking for something which is like he kind of like triumphantly grabs, I believe it was a hammer, and he puts that next to him, and then he has like a couple of like thieves' tools and stuff like that, so he puts that next to him, and then he's just like sectioning everything else out. He does have stuff like a chess set, the couple of the two crowns that he's been collecting. Those are the notable sorts of things. Otherwise, it's just.
Do you have it noted what the chess set is made of?
It's a dragon chess set, I believe. No, hang on. No, because that's part of your beginning equipment. Yeah, I'll have a really quick check.
So what would you have imagined that he would have had his?
Well, because like I pictured marble, but he probably wouldn't have been able to take a marble set with him. So it might just have had to have been wood, which would mean it would be deteriorated. Yeah. So he looks quite like, whoever's observing him, he looks genuinely very upset. And then kind of just like frowns further, and then just like starts picking out the bits of wood and throwing them in this like the same side pile that is not Conrad's problem of just gunk. Yes, so that's what he does. That's his little word picture. He's because it's back up against a wall, now fully shirtless, just his pants. There we go.
Cool. What's everyone else doing very quickly?
Beatrice has gone off to stalk around the tower a little bit more. Just scoping things out, having a think.
Excellent. I guess Paul is just like eating. Probably like when Sevio went to like read the book, he was like
Oh, he just like, yeah, he thought it was really nice seeing like how like excited and passionate she was about it. And then he's probably just healing because he took a bit of burn damage. So, which for flavoring, considering monks can just like, they have a feature where they can just do quickened healing, he just kind of like falls into meditating and is just like thinking really hard to heal himself. And then probably was like actually like bandaging up stuff as well after that.
Cool. Well, in that case, Sevia's gonna like look around, be like, and then we'll pick up. She closes the little book and pats it, looks at her food, and goes like, and then she will go over to Conrad, and she'll like kind of put her hands on her hips and almost jokingly kind of be like, spring cleaning? Ha ha ha.
He just he just kind of like looks up, looks very put out, and like, yes, well, most of this is useless now. So yes, might as well discard it so it's lighter to carry.
Oh. Sorry about that. You know, if you want, Fall can mend certain things. He fixed up my glasses and, there's some of my jewelry.
That's an interesting... I did not know that they possessed such skill.
Yes, it's a new one, I think. They only got it partway through Eberron, I believe.
Oh, it's magic, yes.
Yes, a mending spell.
I see. That is most useful.
Yes, good for little things.
Sorry with the broken stuff.
So, if there's anything you wish to save...
I shall have to see. I suppose most of the clothes are ruined. He kind of like picks up like it's just deteriorated, so like just like some like very like ornately carved like little chest piece that probably just like crumbles to sawdust. I suppose we'll have to see.
Oh.
I just
Yes,
think from home, I suppose, so nothing important.
Oh, well, it can be important if you want it to be. We will go home eventually. Whatever home means.
Yes, indeed. He kind of like puts down the stuff he was just sorting out and kind of like reshuffles his position, like where we're sitting, and looks up. And because I imagine even like his suitcase would probably be having like get very deteriorated at this point as well. It's probably like leather or something like that. It just kind of like just sets his jaw a bit, like it's just peeved still. He's like, yes, well, I suppose we shall see. Why do you question?
Oh, well, I had something else I wanted to talk to you about, but this was upsetting you, it seems. So?
They're just things.
Well, yes, but things carry much meaning. I've carried things that perhaps I should not have carried for a very long time. Does not...
Ah, yes. Like necklace you gave to Fall. Your focus, was it?
Yes.
You gave that to them very early on, you know. Comparatively.
Well, see you later. doesn't seem to know what to do with her hands for a moment, and then just she does this sometimes. Normally she has a big skirt that like will puff out, but she just like crosses her feet and then just plonks down, like so she's sitting cross-legged, and probably a couple bits of fabric just fly off. And she sits down like diagonally to Conrad, so she's not fully in front of him, but not fully beside him.
He watches her do that, notes the fact that she's probably like like little skirt tatters and bloomers, and just like gets very flustered. And then kind of pointedly looks to the side of her.
Well, you know, I sort of like to give things to people I, you know, care deeply about, and that often is just magic. But, you know, Fall needed a focus, and not to make you in any way uncomfortable, Conrad, and she does like cross her arms a little bit. But maybe that was, you know, my mind telling me before I even knew it that I maybe cared about Fall a bit more than normal friendship. But that's, you know, we do not have to discuss that. Certainly. Ha 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 ha.
He kind of like slides his gaze back to Sevia and is like, I see. Well, it is an interesting favor, I suppose. Much like other things you appear to have procured over our travels. He looks at like the little hairpin, because I think like we looted a bunch of stuff and Fall's like, yoink.
Yeah. That was, I believe, one of the things that fell out of the boar's mouth. And
That's
Fall
right.
just gave it to Sylvia.
I was like, Yes. Excellent. Like, good. Well. Excellent.
Yeah.
Yes. I will also say, of haste, I do not feel particularly uncomfortable with you feeling feelings for Fall. It is strange, but my familial relationship with Fall is not I did not care who my brothers dallied with, or who they married, so it is no matter to me. I cannot understand it personally, but I am not uncomfortable. Not in a way that you need to restrain it. Although again, if you're going to do, you know, kissing and things like that, don't just do it in front of me. You know, not directly in front of me. You can do it to the side or something like that, just out of my view, or give me a heads up warning so I can turn away.
Conrad, but I feel like it is
presume you have
necessary
kissed.
to note. Well, yes.
His eyebrows shoot up. I believe he saw her like she did like a cheek kiss at one point or something. Or was like, but he raises his eyebrows purposefully.
But well, I feel like it is important to note. I was definitely not planning on kissing in front of you, or potentially even to the side of you. You, in the kindest way possible, do not enter my thought process when I think about kissing Fall, except to think of ways in which you can be less involved, if that makes you feel any better.
It does. That is of comfort, I suppose. For that sort of thing. Good.
Yes.
To hear anything towards the opposite, that would make me uncomfortable. But you projecting romantic feelings to Fall, you may do it. I just have no interest in it for multiple reasons.
Thank you. She gets that like very, as much as she herself is queer, she gets that very like, PTA mom thing where she's like, thank you for telling me. That is good to know, and I'm glad you are at peace with yourself in that regard. What was I here to talk to you about?
He kind of like looks down over the like things he's been kind of sorting out and looks up again like, is that what you wish to speak to me of? Or is there some other reason you have come to speak with me?
There is another reason. Although if you do ever want to talk about that kind of thing with me, I may not understand it personally, but I certainly can be an open ear if there's ever anything you would like to commiserate about.
I see. Well, I have kissed people on occasion, if that's what you want to know. But not in the same under the same circumstance. And a few times when I was younger, I sought approval from certain figures, which lingered in my thoughts for a while, but that is the extent of that. So, is that what you wish to learn?
I don't know. Mostly I was going to say if there was ever, I don't know, any kind up until fall, I've never really felt like any sort of romantic feelings towards anyone. Briefly, no. She kind of blushes a bit. She's like, but, that's nothing more than passing fancies, really, until fall.
I see.
Yes.
Well, I suppose I have taken passing fancy, but not in the same way you have, I believe, of certain individuals.
Comrade, with a full awareness of our personalities, I would dare say not. I would dare say our passing fancies are very different things.
Good. Well,
but
there we go. We're learning more about each other every day.
Yes, what marvelous.
Puts his hands up in the air. Like,
She, at that moment, was going to give him a friendly little punch on the shoulder and probably accidentally punches one of his hands. And it's just like,
He kind of like holds that hand up like you're trying to do like a hand like grasp, and then just kind of just like slowly retracts his hand and puts it down by his side, and then just kind of like and then kind of just like crosses his arms across his chest, and then angles back against the wall. Well, as wonderful as it is to learn new things about each other, Conrad, I'm actually here about something else that I seem to have learned about you in the last hour and a half or so that I feel it is important to discuss. And I will say, because I know you and I do not always, meet each other at the right time, so to speak. I just wanted to say that as much as this morning, when I asked if you wanted to talk and you said no, and then I left, in this particular case, I feel it is important that we have this conversation. So unfortunately, you do not get a choice. I am talking to you about it. Karen kind of like opens his mouth and then shuts it, like, just nods.
So, we don't have to get in depth about this, but I just wanted to, in the wake of events today and upon reflection, many events of previous situations, I apologize if my magic has ever distressed or frightened you.
Oh, interesting. Conrad kind of looks like he was steeling himself for something, and then kind of like the tension relaxes for a moment, but then it returns again. And he kind of tilts his head to head to the side. Your magic, yes.
Yes.
You, wield a lot of power.
Yes. And I will admit there have been times throughout our adventures where I have mayhaps let the sense of power certain kinds of magic give me get away from me. And I have mayhaps no, I will not pussyfoot around this. I have neglected to speak to you all about what my magic does, and what it means, and what I can do with it. I have just done things and expected all of you to embrace that because the environment I have learned in has been one of like-minded people, and in this case, often desperation. So, I just wanted to say I am sorry for all the times my magic has made you afeard of what it could do. I never explained that I can shape it. I never explained that I can sculpt it. I've never explained that I would never cause harm to anyone in this party.
When you cast magic, have you
Yes.
ever... You've thrown fire quite easily. You have done this many a time. Have you ever had it shape around yourself?
Yes.
Like you're standing in the center of an inferno, but you have confidence in it because you are the one outputting it.
Yes. It is a powerful feeling to control
Yes.
fire. But that does not excuse the fact that none of you have ever been in control of the fire when I have been shaping it around you.
Yes, the first time, many a time, you have used that. When I have been trying to fight off whatever was trying to kill all of us. It is good you consider it now, that while yourself and many others, and myself in borrowed ways, wield magic and harness its power as a strength, which I think is an admirable thing to do. That is how I view it. A power. Many a time, certainly into the temple, when things started to even the score, although not in any way that was powerful enough to compare with your own magic. Not yet. Many a time all I have had is a sword. Standing in the center of an inferno, I'm not scared. But it is good you have considered this.
Yes, of course you have not been scared. But
Good. I'm glad you understand that.
But it is... We have spoken many times of power, Conrad. You know what can happen to a mind when power is intoxicating.
Perhaps I shall. We shall. That remains to be seen.
Well, I just wanted you to know that if you would like, and I say this not only as someone who does view you as a leader in this group, but also as someone who with full awareness that you do not feel the same, views you as a friend. If you wanted me to, Conrad, you are not the only person who has expressed discomfort with this magic. I would alter what I do, at least while we are here, if that assists.
I will admit earlier I was not certain whether you had control over it. And again, as you have mentioned just now, it is a conscious decision to shape around. Therefore, it could also be a conscious decision or a temporary lapse in judgment. That might mean that that the same does not happen. Did that happen back there in the fight, in the machine?
No, absolutely not. As long as it is my head upon my shoulders, I will not harm this party.
Interesting. Well, that is a relief to hear. After all, I will not be liar. I will admit you are the most powerful here. I've seen that for a long time. Exley saw that. That's why he took interest. That's why I took interest. It is understandable. But it is good you are conscious of your own power, I suppose. For a while, it did not seem like you were.
Well, while I would argue my status as most powerful member of this party, it is just important to me that you know I will not harm you, and I will not harm this party. And that if you request, I will stop. I will change what I do. I have many other spells. I do not need to use Fireball. It is useful, yes, but it's not necessary.
Conrad kind of like during this is kind of like drawing his knees up to his chest, and kind of just like loops his arms around it, and then like just rests his head against his knees, and continues to regard Sevia like, interesting. You would come to ask me about this first.
Well, as I said, I do view you as a leader and a friend. And as much as you are not the first person to express discomfort in my magic, you are the first to think I would hurt anyone. Fall was afeared that mayhaps I had committed atrocities, that perhaps I was reckless with my magic.
Not before Barovia, though.
No. Fall just worried that perhaps I was akin to the people they had grown with.
I see. Interesting. I will say there is much similarity in wielding power, in wielding fire, in wielding any sort of magic, any sort of strength. There is much similarity to, well, which is why it's useful. It can make others afraid of you. Much the same as if, threatening someone, having great influence for whatever reason, wielding a blade perfectly, or being locked in a cabinet until the servants find you again, that sort of thing. All sorts of displays of power can be utilized in ways that cannot be expected by those who do not wield the same thing. That said, if you think the fire is useful, you should continue to use it. It's power, is it not?
It is.
The concern of others is secondary. That said, if it were up to me, I would prefer if not. If for nothing else, then if that fire did not come from you, then it was from elsewhere. And it would not be very give you much of a tactical advantage to employ the same sort of magic that potential other enemies along our way out of hell may employ. Something to consider, anyway.
A thought game I will play on.
Yes, a thought game. What a good term.
Well, thank you, Conrad, for discussing this with me.
I appreciate you approaching me about it. You're more observant than I would expect, so...
Well, have to use this big old brain for something.
Yes. He kind of just, turns his head to look back over his, the things he's been trying to sort out. And he doesn't look back, he's like, you say earlier that term of friend is not reciprocated.
Well, I can only assume so, Conrad. I have often considered people friends long before they have considered me the same.
Well, your statement earlier is not entirely true.
Oh. She has like a little smile on her face. And she goes, duly noted, Conrad. That is our... Good to hear.
Good. I had better continue tidying this. I will consult you. I have some question about magic. But you do not know, you do not practice the same magic that I have been gifted.
Ah. Well, enough time, enough energy, I can learn anything.
Excellent. I have been tasked with something. I do not know how to do it of yet.
Oh. A side quest of sorts.
Of sorts. An outreach of influence from another plane, or wherever they may dwell. We shall see. I'm not certain of yet.
All
But
right.
perhaps here anything is possible.
Perhaps. When you are certain, find me. I am easy to find. Of course,
This
we
is
always end up in
true.
the same rooms.
This is true, yes. We all seem to enjoy seeking solitude in precisely the same spaces. So, yes, that is very true.
Yes, well, luckily none of us ever seem to seek solitude in the bath at the same time. Am I right?
Well, yes, no. Well, certainly not any of you, no.
Or is it-
So, is there anything else folks want to do before Mordenkainen gathers you all up for clothes?
All
No.
all I'll say is Beatrice would have found a nice sort of big empty room. And while she's in there, she pulls out all of her weaponry and things and is going over everything and sharpening it. And she picks up the Hellfire dagger and looks at it and then puts it back away, but puts it, it was just in her pack before. It's now on her body. Like it is now put somewhere within easy reach on her body.
Okay. Okay. So, you're all able to get the benefits of a short rest. So that includes regaining any hit points if you want to spend the hit dice, getting back any short rest features that you may have expended. Sevia, if you have any spell slots, of course, that you can regain. And Conrad, if you have any spell slots that you have used, they come back. Yeah, so Mordenkainen gathers you up. And leads you to a room where you find Mordenkainen and a whole lot of clothes in 4 neat piles. Any jewelry or what have you neatly laid atop.
Are there 2 Mordenkainens right now?
Yes.
Oh.
Paul must be so pleased. Conrad points to the second Mordenkainen, like, who requested another one of you? And for what purpose?
I thought
He raises his eyebrows.
that you might be able to do with some additional assistance when you were outside of the tower. I think my presence is known here now. It's going to be a bit dangerous for me to venture outside of here. But I can send you this simulacrum that has a modicum of my power behind it. It is limited, but I can make another one if need be on another day. So if it gets destroyed and you find yourselves in need of its assistance still, then all you need to do is come back, which I'm sure you will at some point anyway, but whether or not you need to at this stage, or you don't need to until you have my dial back, I do not know.
Curious, and magic can do this. Conrad's just like circling around the second Mordenkainen.
It is simply a construct that has my knowledge, my abilities, but not quite as much of my hardiness.
A construct like Hexley?
No. This doesn't have its own essence in the way that Exley did. It is simply a copy.
Interesting.
It will act as I would in any given situation, but it is not a thing of... it is not a being with a soul. And it said, when it is destroyed, it will return to a pile of melted snow on the ground.
Conrad lapses into silence, but he looks very interested. His eyes are kind of like shining a little bit uncomfortably. Doesn't do that horrible smile that he does sometimes.
I have made your outfits for you. He says, gesturing at the 4 piles. I've already given Sevia hers, as I had it on me, but I have certain gifts for each of you. And he takes out initially 2 vials. He passes one to you, Fall. This, well, I'll be honest, this will make you absolutely terrifying. This is a potion of speed. So you're already, immense speed will be enhanced by it. allowing you to move between targets with incredible ease, among other benefits.
That sounds very fun, actually.
Conrad?
How long will this one last?
The potion of speed lasts for... Let me... Potion... I wasn't expecting you to... It is not permanent, of course. However, it does last for a minute. It will allow you... will be as if someone had cast haste upon you. Your speed will be doubled, you will be a little harder to hit, and you can get an extra punch out. Or a
I see, that sounds quite fun. For a minute, I suppose, that would come to good use.
So yeah, you notice your potion. It has it's yellow fluid streaked with black, and which seems to swirl on its own. Conrad. He produces the other vial that he has and passes it to you. It looks empty.
Okay,
But
well, I suppose it can be useful for something.
As he passes it to you, you feel there's a definite heft to it, as if it was filled with a liquid, and it feels and sounds as if it was filled with liquid. It just doesn't look it. That is a potion of invisibility. If you imbibe it, you will become invisible for an hour. However, the effect will end if you try to attack or cast a spell.
I see. Interesting. Like the spell that Casimir cast.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Yes. I became invisible and found a great wonder in the temple. This will be of great use. I appreciate this. What do you want in return? Or is this to safeguard the retrieval of your object?
A little of that, a little in thank you for what you have done.
I see, yes. Well, we did all escape Barovia together.
Yes.
Most of us.
Of course. Finally, and he opens up his cloak, revealing his crossbow bolt quiver, which you notice has it's got a lot of bolts in it. It does have really sticking out an arrow. And he takes that arrow out and he passes it to you, Beatrice. It's an intricate black and red arrow that seems seamless. This is an arrow of slaying. 'Tis attuned to fiends. If you shoot a fiend of some sort, whether that be a devil, a demon, an Yugoloth, what have you, it will bane them further, causing more damage than a standard arrow would. It can be used on other things and retrieved as normal, but once it has dealt that additional damage, it becomes a regular arrow.
Thank you.
Of course, Sylvia, you have your tome.
Yes, thank you once again for that. And she's clutching it to her chest.
Have you begun reading it yet?
Briefly, very, very briefly. I I'm aware that I'm on a limited timeline to finish it, but, I read quite fast, so I snuck in a few pages before we came up. It's a fascinating read.
I trust it is. Shapes itself to the reader to an extent.
Oh, yes, yeah, we've encountered one of those before. None of us have read it yet, but, yes, those books that make themselves, easy to read, depending on what you're interested. Yes, it's very exciting.
All right. Well, from what I have gathered, the best approach, the best information that I have is that Archon has set himself up with a tower. Where that tower originated from, I do not know. From rumors I have heard, it was formed from infernal volcanoes. But whether or not that is true, I do not know. However, that would be the most likely place to find him. However, I understand that you also have your own goals. And those are possible to seek out here in Hell. Just don't spend too long on them if you can avoid it. Once I have the dial, we can always return.
We shall see.
Of course. So, and he gives you directions to Archon's tower. Of course, this being Hell, those aren't certain. Distances may warp a little or a lot, but that is the general direction of it. There are some moving structures you'll notice, but fortunately, I'm not reliant on any of those to give you these directions. I would say a reminder to not make deals with devils unless you absolutely have to. And if you do have to, be careful that you understand all aspects of the deal.
A good warning.
Do you have any further questions for me?
Could you give us a detailed description of the dial, just so we know what it looks like, so we don't, come back with a clock that we mistook for it?
It's a round dial, about size of a handspan across, and it has is segmented along the edge with arcane symbols for the different planes. I imagine you are well studied enough, Sevia, to understand that, at least.
Yes, quite.
Yes. There is also additionally a hole within the center of this particular dial that I use to place it within the mechanism that allows the tower to go between planes.
Good. Fantastic. Just because I don't know if you know this, Mordenkainen, we've been on quite a few adventures at this point, and almost all of them have been kind of, well, I mean, in Barovia we did have a prophecy, but, there have been many a time where we have no idea what we're looking for, and we just kind of go to a place and have to wander around that place until we find a thing, and we don't know what it looks like. That's sort of how we ended up dealing with a lich, not 3 days ago. So, thank you for the specificity, to be perfectly honest. This is a welcome change. And hopefully the moving and warping distances and structures will not be too much of a hindrance upon this situation. I would quite like to not waffle about, as the young people say.
Of course. And of course, a reminder that you have my simulacrum traveling with you, so that
Yes.
if you require my knowledge, then you need only ask it.
Will he only speak when spoken to?
Not so much. He just doesn't feel the need to speak when I am already in the room.
Sevia just looks over at Fall as if to be like, sorry. Well, good. It shall be interesting to continue learning from you even when you yourself are not in the room.
Yeah, wonderful.
And then she like puts her hands on her hips and see if anyone else has any questions because she's realizing she's hogged the conversation.
No, Fall's just like, yes, I agree with you. Hopefully we'll have a nice, straightforward adventure this time, and then we'll actually be able to get back to Fierlor.
Yes.
So
This is
thank
true.
you for your assistance.
Beatrice just looks contemplative.
Nothing good can come from that.
Excellent.
One more-
Correct. Oh, sorry, no. You go.
One final thing from me before you depart. As I will be holed up here anyway for the next few days, I might as well do this. And you see him casting what you, Sevia, in particular recognize as very complicated arcane gestures. As he casts Wish to remove remove all levels of exhaustion that are on those who are currently suffering exhaustion. Actually, yeah, no, he doesn't need to. Yeah, he does. I'll say he doesn't need. Actually, no, he and the Singmira, because it's only two of you suffering from exhaustion at the moment, isn't it? So he and the Simulacrum are both going to use Wish to cast Greater Restoration.
Man.
Nice.
So you're not...
Right, like, watches this happen, and then he's like, okay, well, I'm about to take my pants off, so we're going to be grabbing our clothes and getting, changed elsewhere, or shall I do it right now?
Oh, yes. Can we please have changing rooms?
He starts to unlace his current pants.
Yes, there are...
Beatrice is half undressed already.
Cora, turns and looks at Beatrice like, okay, well, Beatrice is already half naked, so there we go. Kind of has a look on his face. It's like, I was trying to wig people out, but Beatrice is already there.
I mean, there were rooms that you would have been shown on the tour that you could...
Yeah. He just wanted to annoy people. He just kind of sheepishly just still look like very stroppy. Picks up his stuff and then well, it's weird if Beatrice is doing it. He'll go out to get changed.
As will Sevia, who does not make eye contact with anyone. Especially not
Paul's just kind of like, Paul's just kind of like, oh man, guys, and we'll leave as well to get changed.
Beatrice has no shame and just continues to get us right where she is.
This has been well established.
Yeah, she doesn't go anywhere else to get changed. She gets changed right there.
That's fair. Good old take back to Barovia.
All right. So, yes, as you all get prepared with your new items and your new clothes, what is there any preparations people would like to make before departing?
not particularly on Conrad's end. He will probably like get ready, kind of like just try to strap everything on, like put all of his arm, like strapping on to himself again, and then he's going to stride out at some point to go and look over the motorbike and see, have a tinker with it while people are getting ready.
All right, so roll me an Arcana check to kind of gauge how this thing works.
Oh no, he actually has a modifier with that. That's cool. Sorry, so that's a 12. So a 15.
15. Okay, so you notice that that there seems to be a time dial on there so it's easy enough for you to kind of work out how to drive it. But you also see that there is a sort of time dial on there that is, and you're able to, from that and the position of a coin by it, that the coins fuel it, and in theory you can get up to 72 hours of travel from a single coin.
Ooh, boy. Interesting. So Corey kind of looks quite pleased with himself that he's trying to, he gets out his little diary, he has his little hip bag, and then takes notes while he waits for everyone else to turn up, and then does kind of contemplate the soul coins that he has and looks at them with interest, but he's not going to do anything particularly with them yet. But he is quite interested in the fact that this is potentially a soul powering a bike.
Yeah. And you make note that the position of the dial, there are currently 18 hours of travel left with the current coin.
Excellent. Cool. All right, he notes that down. That's what Conrad does.
I think
He He also contemplates.
He'll probably be like, okay.
He just contemplates grabbing food and stuff like that, but it's just kind of nah. He kind of looks a bit odd again, oh, and then we'll grab it, grab something of the food that had been set up, and they're just before he heads out to look at the bike, so that he doesn't take any food with him. Sorry, there we go.
Nice.
Oh.
I think Fall would probably be when they're going off to get changed in different rooms, I would be Cynthia, you need to show me the new outfit when you come out.
Oh, of course, and you have to show me yours.
Absolutely. I mean, I hope Mordenkainen didn't make it all too tight or something, just because that's probably what he's like.
Well, I mean, I know he's been a little bit of and she lowers her voice, a little bit of a bastard in the past, but he wouldn't do anything to make you uncomfortable on purpose. He's a wizard. He's an old wizard. However old you think I've heard rumors from some of the other students at the academy that Mordenkainen, how he looks maybe, middle-aged-ish, he's anywhere between 80 and 100. Which
really,
yes, it's rumored, because he's so powerful and because he, communes between all the planes and such, it's made him not immortal, but he ages slower. It's really quite fascinating. Imagine being someone.
Yes, that is interesting. True.
Yes.
So although maybe he just has some heavy duty magic going on to, change the features.
He could also be glamoring, that is true. Mordenkainen could also not be a name, it could just be a title, sort of like, king or duke or
Maybe. So there's been
lord of the dance, those kinds of things.
True, there could be like multiple Mordenkainen's, and this is just the latest one.
Maybe.
I think you'll find that in D&D, the Lord of the Dance is Otto.
Well, then Stevie is not saying nonsense because I couldn't think of other words. She's saying actual things that are true. Haha, you heard it here first, folks.
Nice.
So Stevie is going to say. So fundamentally, what I'm saying is just because he is an old man does not mean he's looking for particular ways to, annoy the youth. He's just a wizard. Fundamentally, is the kindest and the easiest way to put it. He's just a wizard. And if he did make your clothes the wrong size, then I'd give him bloody what for about it.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I do appreciate when you tell people what for and stuff.
Oh, really? I don't.
Yes, Sam. You're a very strong person.
Oh, well, that. I was going to say no one's ever told me that before, but actually, someone else told me that earlier today. So, but I assume you probably mean it a bit differently to how they did, which is, well, just taps her little fingers together.
I see. I assume that was part of your conversation with Conrad.
Oh, yes, you have.
I didn't hear anything. I was just.
Yeah, no, sorry. When I'm talking to someone, sometimes I can forget that other things exist. That's I get very focused. Although not, that's just how the little brain works. Ha 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 ha. It's very different, when I forget other things with you. That's
no, that's fine. I don't assume there's anything going on between you and Conrad.
Well, no, that's not what
that's what you're worrying about.
No. I think beyond anything else, Conrad, how to put this? Well, one, he would not be interested in me in any capacity, and that is, kind of the bar there. If he's not interested, then, that's not happening. And two, in the kindest way possible, considering you two do share a lot of similar traits, and I don't want to unpack that, he is not my type. Yes.
Yes, fair enough. Oh, I didn't think we were that similar, but
well,
something to think about.
You have similar noses.
That's true.
I feel like I'd rather put my foot in it. Yes. Is there anything else you want to say, darling, before I go put actual clothes on, or
No, it's fine. Yes, just show me when you're done.
My same to you. And she does scurry over, gives them a kiss on the cheek, and then goes off into a little room to get dressed.
Nice.
And then puts on a very awkward little jazz hands show when she comes back out.
Oh, Paula's really excited. And I guess Paul probably briefly mentioned as well afterwards that actually, have you Do you have any traits left from the old weird deities in the head possession thing from before?
Arcanic?
Because I've noticed like Kubazan when I from me, Johanna has forgotten which one they're possessed. Your apologies.
Oh, hold on. I have it noted. Fuck, where'd it go?
Was it Obalaka?
Somewhere.
Yes, you mean Obalaka?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
No, not in any quantifiable sense. The only thing Obalaka really seemed to do for me was just to make traits I already have far more worse of a sort. Didn't really, in the kindest way possible, in case they're still listening, Obalaka did not do a lot for me. Do you still that'd be so bad. Do you still have...
No, you're completely right. Overlocker did nothing. Like, because you just got an extra attunement slot, which you weren't using.
That was not needed.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you still have remnants of Kubazan?
I mean, I don't hear him or anything. I'm pretty sure he's gone, but I haven't exactly been like, I don't think I've been like exactly working out or anything, and I'm like considerably more muscular than before. I think he left some strength to me, which is very odd.
Oh.
So looks at his arm.
Sevia also looks at his arm and momentarily is distracted. And then it's, yes, no, you do. I mean, it does not appear to be as taut as it was in Everon, but you certainly are stronger than I remember you being in, Barovia and the first part of Eberron.
Yes, that's true. I mean, I've never really wanted to look like hyper masculine or anything, but it's a nice change, I guess. Anyway, yes, I was just curious, I suppose. I wonder if anyone else has any remnants of this, or maybe I did, and maybe all the fights that I got into did well by my muscles. I don't know.
Potentially, Kubazan was just, very excited by the fact that you were so gung-ho. Mayhaps it has, she does look very awkward for a second, and she's like, perhaps it is because you had a situation occur that none of the rest of us did while under Kubazan's control. Influence. But we don't, if you're not comfortable,
Yes,
sorry.
Yes, I hadn't thought of that.
That did rather bring the mood down.
No, that's
I'm sorry.
Yes, no, that's all good. Yes, no, I would not like to talk about that. All right, let's find the others.
Yes, you look quite dashing, by the way.
Wearing.
Yes.
Thank you. You look gorgeous.
Oh.
I mean, I said it before, but I'll say it again.
Oh, darling. Thank you. She is gonna hold their hand as we go off to find the others.
Yeah,
and
hold hands and look at the others and have a fashion show.
Beatrice, do you have anything to kind of round us out before the party hits the road?
So just before everybody leaves, Beatrice would probably head outside, much like Conrad, but she would just go out to scan the horizon, probably drag our clone of Mordenkainen along with her and just have a good old peer out in the direction she thinks they're headed.
Okay. Right. From where you are, you can just see, like, it's almost tiny on the horizon. Something akin to a tower in the distance, matching the description given.
Lil, and she turns to the morning kind of. This is going to be interesting.
Indeed, it is.
And that's it.
And that's where we're going to leave it for this week's episode.
All right. See you next week, everyone.
See you next week.
See you
Thank
next
for
week.
listening.
Thanks,
Thanks
for
for
listening.
Goodbye.
Catch you later. Bye.
Bye.